It's funny, isn't it? How people take you for granted until you're gone. They laughed at your struggles, dismissed your kindness, and ignored your pain. But one day, you walked away, not in anger, not in hate, but in silence. And now, that silence haunts them. Every moment they took you for granted echoes in their mind like a scream in an empty room. You see, absence isn't just the lack of presence, it's the unbearable weight of regret, and they will carry it forever. Let's talk about invisibility. Not the kind from some storybook. The kind where you stand in a room, surrounded by people you thought cared about you, yet you feel unseen. Your voice? It's a whisper lost in a hurricane of louder, more important voices. Your presence? Overlooked, as if you're just another piece of furniture in their lives. But here's the reality. They saw you. They just didn't value you. You gave your time, your energy, your love. You tried to be there, to help, to fix, to heal. And what did they do? They took, and took, and took some more. Because they assumed you'd always be there. Why wouldn't you? You were reliable, consistent, always available. But what they didn't realize is that even the strongest hearts can break, and even the kindest souls can grow cold. You didn't walk away because you stopped caring. You walked away because they made you feel like you didn't matter. And now they'll realize just how much you did. When you leave, it's not the big things that hit them first. It's the small ones. The empty chair at the dinner table, the unanswered text that stays marked as read, the absence of your laughter in moments that used to feel alive. At first, they'll brush it off. People come and go, they'll say, but slowly, the weight of your absence will creep in like a shadow that never leaves. They'll start to notice how their world feels colder, quieter, lonelier, because you weren't just a person in their life. You were the glue that held so many broken pieces together. The one who stayed up late, listening to their problems when no one else cared. The one who sacrificed your own happiness to make theirs a little brighter. And now, that light is gone. And they'll sit there, in the dark, wondering how they let it slip away. Absence has a strange power, doesn't it? It amplifies everything they ignored. The memories they took for granted suddenly become treasures. The words you said, words they didn't bother to listen to, now play on repeat in their minds. And the things they said to you, oh, those cut like knives now. They'll remember the fights, the harsh words, the dismissive comments, the times they made you feel like you were asking for too much when all you wanted was the bare minimum. And they'll wonder, what if? What if they had been kinder? What if they had appreciated you when you were there? What if they had fought for you instead of pushing you away? But regret is a cruel teacher. It shows them everything they could have done differently, but it never gives them a second chance to fix it. Regret doesn't just visit, it lives with them now. It follows them in every quiet moment, in every silence that feels too loud. It whispers to them when they try to sleep, reminding them of the moments they failed you. Every accomplishment they achieve feels hollow because you're not there to celebrate with them. Every failure stings more because they don't have your shoulder to lean on. They'll try to fill the void you left with other people, other distractions, but it won't work because what you gave them was unique. It wasn't something they could buy or replace. It was you, your essence, your love, your energy. And once they realize that, it's too late. Walking away wasn't easy for you. It wasn't a decision you made lightly. Because you cared. You always cared. But there comes a point where you realize that staying only breaks you more. So, you chose yourself. You chose peace over chaos, self-respect over neglect. You chose to stop begging for the love and respect you deserved. And that choice? It's what makes you powerful. Because leaving isn't weakness. It's strength. It's standing up and saying, I deserve better. And that's a lesson they'll never forget. Years will pass. They'll build lives, have successes, and maybe even find happiness. But your absence will linger, like a scar they can't erase. They'll hear a song that reminds them of you, They'll see someone who looks like you in a crowded place and feel their heart skip a beat. They'll have moments where they want to pick up the phone and call you, only to remember that they can't. Because bridges once burned can't always be rebuilt. And some doors, once closed, should never be reopened. Your absence isn't just a void, it's a lesson. A reminder to them, and to anyone else who took you for granted, that people like you don't come around often. You were a blessing they didn't see until it was gone. And now, they'll spend the rest of their lives trying to make sense of what they lost. But here's the truth. You're not their burden to bear anymore. You're free. Free from their neglect, their indifference, their lack of appreciation. And they're left with the weight of a loss they'll never fully recover from. Your departure wasn't just a moment. It was a ripple in their lives. Every action, every word they spoke, now echoes differently in the hollow space you left behind. They replay the last conversation, trying to remember if there was a sign, a warning. They wonder if they could have said something, anything, to make you stay. But silence speaks louder than words. And your silence, it's deafening. They'll try to explain it to others, justify their actions, paint themselves as the victim. They left for no reason, they'll say. But deep down, they know the truth. They know you didn't leave without cause. You left because staying meant losing yourself. Before you left, you were bound by invisible chains of expectation, obligation, and guilt. They expected you to always be there. They made you feel guilty for wanting more. And they tied you to their world with promises they never kept. But when you walked away, you broke free. Those chains no longer hold you. Now they're the ones trapped in a prison of their own regret. You see, people often underestimate the cost of freedom. For you, it meant pain, loneliness, and uncertainty. But for them, it meant losing the one person who truly cared. And that loss, it's a price they'll pay for the rest of their lives. They thought your kindness was weakness. They mistook your patience for passivity. But they were wrong. It takes strength to endure what you endured, to give even when you had nothing left, to stay even when every part of you wanted to leave. And when you finally chose to walk away, you showed them a strength they never expected. You showed them that you're not afraid to be alone. You showed them that your worth isn't tied to their validation. Now, they look at you and see the strength they failed to recognize. And it terrifies them, because they know they'll never find anyone like you again. As time passes, they'll reflect on everything. The moments they dismissed you, the times they chose their ego over your well-being, the ways they failed to show up when it mattered most. Reflection is a cruel mirror. It forces them to see their flaws, their mistakes, their selfishness. And the image staring back at them isn't one they can easily accept. They'll try to numb the pain with distractions, new relationships, new hobbies, new routines. But nothing will fill the void you left, because it's not just about losing you. It's about losing the version of themselves that you brought out, the better, kinder, more loving version. And that loss, it's irreplaceable. Loneliness has a way of creeping in when you least expect it. For them, it arrives in the quiet moments, when they're alone with their thoughts, when the world feels too big and too empty, when they realize that no one else will ever understand them the way you did. They'll try to fill their lives with noise, but the silence will always find them. Because your absence isn't just the lack of a person. It's the absence of connection, understanding, and love. And loneliness? It's a burden they'll carry for a lifetime. Sometimes, people need to lose something to realize its value. Your absence became their greatest teacher. It taught them that love isn't guaranteed, that kindness shouldn't be taken for granted, that people who care deeply don't stay forever when they're treated like an afterthought. They'll carry these lessons with them, long after you've moved on. But the irony is, these lessons won't bring you back. They'll make them better people, just not in time to be better for you. And that's the bittersweet truth. Sometimes your absence is what helps them grow. But that growth? It's no longer yours to witness. While they're stuck in the past, you're building your future. A life where you're valued. A life where your kindness is met with gratitude, not entitlement. A life where you don't have to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. This is your time to rediscover your passions, to reconnect with yourself, to find people who see you, truly see you, and cherish you for who you are. Their regret no longer defines you. Their loss isn't your burden to bear. Because you've learned that walking away isn't just about leaving them, it's about choosing you. Regret is a cycle they can't escape. It starts with denial, convincing themselves that you'll come back. Then comes anger, at you, at themselves, at the world, followed by bargaining, reaching out with half-hearted apologies, hoping to fix what they broke. But the final stage? Acceptance. They'll accept that you're gone. But acceptance doesn't mean peace. It means living with the knowledge that they had something beautiful and destroyed it. It means carrying the weight of that loss every single day. And every time they think of you, it'll hurt. Because regret doesn't fade, it lingers. And for them, it's a pain they'll never fully heal from. Your absence is more than just a void. It's a legacy. It's a reminder of your worth, your strength, your resilience. It's proof that even the most giving hearts have limits. For them, it's a constant shadow, a weight they'll carry in their hearts. But for you, it's a testament to your courage. You walked away not to hurt them, but to heal yourself. You left not out of spite, but out of necessity. And in doing so, you reclaimed your power. Now, as you move forward, you leave behind not just memories, but a lesson for them and for anyone who dared to underestimate you. Never take a good soul for granted, because when they leave forever. And the burden of their absence? It's a lifetime sentence for those who didn't see their value. In the end, your absence is your power, because it forces them to see what they couldn't see before. And while they carry the regret of losing you, you carry the strength of knowing you're worth more than what they gave. Let them regret. Let them carry that burden. Because sometimes, the greatest justice isn't revenge, it's simply walking away and never looking back. By the way, if you want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Until next time.